Hospital port as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. Now, if you're familiar with HPANWO TV, you'll know about my film Gateway to a Parallel Universe, where I refer to the work of one Stephen Mera. Stephen Mera. Stephen Mera. Well, guess what? Stephen Mera is right here.
Hi guys.
Hello, the author of Strange Happenings, and you've written several other books, haven't you?
Yes, Paranormal Insight. I've got another one coming out, which is due shortly, regarding the investigations of the strange and profound.
Oh.
But I first, regarding the topic that you've been looking into, I wrote an article you're probably aware of regarding City in the Sky. Well, I was first confronted by a gentleman, a friend of mine now, called Sid Barnes, now in his 90s. Was during the Second World War on a landing ship tank, which was quite a well-known ship that would literally throw itself up on shore, then a grappling hook would fire out to sea via cannon and it'd pull itself out to sea again, basically for offloading trucks and vehicles during the Second World War onto beaches. And whilst they were off the shores of Sicily, it told me a remarkable incident took place where the whole ship, everybody on board, came up to watch a vision that had appeared in the sky, and that vision was of a city. Now, what was very unusual about this city, that it didn't look as if it was normal time related, should we say, in the 1940s. It looked something, maybe sort of late 1800s. There was horse-drawn carriages, fountains, very elegant, lovely white-type buildings.
Some of the descriptions are actually quite fantastical.
Really fantastical. But what was really interesting about this vision is that it was like watching television. They could see people walking down the streets, they could see interaction, they could see the horses, they could see everything in clear, precise detail. Now, taking into consideration that at this stage, the ship travelled roughly around about 4.5 miles at a certain type of knots, the image stayed on the right side of the ship all the same time. It never moved from out of the sky for almost just over all that time. And when it actually did, it happened very fast. Little parts of it, like a jigsaw puzzle, started disappearing one by one, and within literally minutes it was gone, never to be seen again. Now, when I was first contacted about that, I looked into the phenomena of something referred to as Fata Morgana. Now, Fata Morgana is unusual temperature inversions which cause images to appear sometimes in the sky, but most of them tend to be inverted upside down, a super inversion. There are a number of rare ones where people have reported sort of images in the sky, but not very precise, and they always tend to be time related. So we never did actually get to the bottom as to what the whole crew, literally what they'd seen that day. What's really interesting for me is I had names and dates, so I actually started going through who is still alive now. It can sort of contact and find out some information from them. And I did. I found other members of the crew. I actually even found the captain. He's passed away now, unfortunately, but I did get affidavits from them, details, and everybody's information regarding the whole event just tied up. The whole crew saw this event to unfold before their very eyes. They have no idea what they were seeing for over 4.5 hours, and it's remained a mystery today. I'm just as baffled as them, but a fantastic story. That's
a remarkable fact to actually get the story corroborated by all those different people.
That's where our researchers really came in, because we had to hunt down these people. A lot of them, as you can well imagine, had passed on, due to the time, the years in difference after finding out. But we did manage to find a few, and we did manage to find a captain, and we did get affidavits from them, and those details all tallied up. Everybody saw something strange, mysterious that day in the sky, and nobody until this day has come up with a rational explanation for it. I don't believe it was Fata Morgana. It was certainly something more stranger than that. A porthole, some vision from the past. We just do not know, but it's certainly amazing.
It is interesting. So I mean, now the actual idea that there are other worlds which can be reached through some kind of stargate or portal is common in many sort of science fiction and fantasy, especially stories. From C.S. Lewis and the Chronicles of Narnia, which tells the story of children who managed to get into a world through a magic wardrobe. Right. To Philip Pullman, who's a more recent writer from Oxford, who talks about people cutting holes in the universe with a knife. But I mean, of course, serious scientists talk about this as a reality. I mean, a lot of Philip Pullman's work was based on the ideas by Hugh Everett, who brought up the subject of parallel universe. He was a serious physicist. Now, is it possible, if these different universes exist, there are times when they might be able to maybe contact this one, or maybe maybe they collide or something.
I think in some cases, I think that obviously the idea now and the general theories that are coming from scientists is that there are numerous different sorts of dimensions, a multi-dimensional universe in the sense of speaking, and these are parallels. And sometimes, just now and again, the two will meet together and interact. And sometimes those people that are there at that time will actually witness something quite profound and unusual. The theory is not a new one. It's been going on for quite some time, right back to the days of the experiments in the Montauk program, punching holes through time and space and the fabric of the universe and so on and so forth. I think a lot more experiments and new theories have come forward over the years. There does seem to be some more provided evidence now to suggest that there are some capabilities in the military facilities, in the military complex, that they are actually doing some experiments in regard to that matter. And it certainly would be advantageous if they could do, and just certainly from a military point of view anyway. But like I say, there is very much a possibility that these 2 points in time will meet. Just as we get hiccups and little time twists and time slips, I think that all one part and parcel is that we're like a record on a system, and now and again it jumps. And when those things happen, people witness them, and I'll sit here telling stories, sort of thing.
Well, sometimes they get spliced together and unexpectedly.
Exactly.
The different
the crossovers. Sometimes there's been events recorded where people seem to have stepped out of their own time or interacted with people from a different time. And some people might refer to some of these events as paranormal in nature. Not necessarily. It could simply be that there's been this just sudden modification in this time process, and this little glitch has happened, and that interaction takes place during that time. It's absolutely fascinating.
I think Stephen is a delegate at the Exopolitics conference, like myself. We've just been listening to Richard D. Hall and David Caton talking about animal mutilations. Was it you mentioned the skinwalker ranch? It was someone else.
Yes, there was. Yes.
Yes, was someone mentioned skinwalker ranch. That's another good example. It's the source of the idea that there's sort of like military experiments. Has been the source of a recent horror film called The Mist, based on a Stephen King novella, which is it's a very, very frightening film, but very, very thought-provoking. It's a thinking man's horror movie, It
is, because it all ties into this recent information that was put out by Stephen Hawking last year about communication with extraterrestrials. Should we do it? Do we really want to do it? It also pushes on the idea of that if we are doing certain experiments, should we? If there are other dimensions out there, what's to say that it's no better than ours? What's to say it could be a lot worse than ours? Do we really want to go there? Do we really want to mix the two paints together in a sense of speaking? Should we end up with a bad colour? This is the questions that people are asking now.
Yeah.
How far do we push
safe,
into science? Yeah.
Exactly.
Is it safe? Could we cause some serious problem?
In The Mist, in the horror film The Mist, which is well worth seeing, it causes terrible catastrophe when an artificial wormhole is created between two universes. But I think they're going to be starting again in a minute. It's quite busy. But now, Stephen, if you go to the HPANWO radio blog, there's a link there to keeping the paranormal friendly.
Yes.
Now, Stephen is a regular guest on that show.
Yes, I am a regular guest on the KTPS show, Keeping Paranormal Friendly. It's all about distributing information for free, getting the information out there and sharing, all working to go towards a common cause, and letting the public know what our findings are, because as years and years go on, I've been in the subject for 30 years, I like to let people know what our findings are. Even though they may just as baffle me now as they did back in 1983 when I first started on the investigations of this subject. It's all a matter about distributing that information freely and educating the public.
Do you have your own website and blog?
We have a number of websites. Of course, I'm the editor of Phenomena magazine, which is the #1 internet magazine of its type. That's www.phenomenamagazine.co.uk. I also run a Manchester-based organisation which is called MAPIT, M-A-P-I-T, which was formed in 1974. It's the third longest running organisation in the country. But we tend to deal with more corporate cases. We also work with the police and officialdom around the country regarding certain strange and unusual events which take place, and that's mapit.kk5.org. That's quite a lot of information on that website. And of course, I do the Planet X. I'm the co-host of the Planet X radio show here in Liverpool, which goes out every Sunday. That's my identification badge.
It's well worth listening to. That's on Liverpool City Radio.
8 till 10 o'clock on a Sunday evening on 105.9 FM. We talk about all the strange and profound, anything unexplained. We started the show back in April of this year, and it's absolutely rocketed. And we've got some fantastic guest speakers on there and current information that's getting out there to the public.
Yeah.
So it's really
and even if you're not in the Liverpool area, 'cause it's a local station, you can listen online.
Yes, it's available online. It's also due to be syndicated to other radio stations across the UK. So anybody in the world can listen to it if they drop onto line. And Those shows, past shows, can be listened to up on YouTube. Classed as, I think his name is Planet Extra, and you can actually tune in and listen to all the shows that we've had. That's really fascinating.
Oh, that's great. Well, Stephen Mera, thank you very much for being on HPANWO TV. It's been interesting talking to you. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
I do, yeah.
Okay. And thank you, HPANWO TV viewers, for watching. I'll see you later. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.